Hello and welcome to another edition of Superhero Movie Review Time. I'm your host Grant Liston, a very bored Englishman. And happy International Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Such a terrible pun, but I love it so much. Yes, it's finally time to review Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. Now, regulars to my channel may have seen my non-spoiler review the day it came out, or the day after it came out should I say, and I was very much full of praise for the film and how it felt like a Star Wars movie, and I was really caught up in the emotions, and I was very happy with the overall film, although admitting this film will definitely have its haters. I'm not gonna lie, I've watched it twice since, and I've come to really dislike this movie. I kind of felt I was suckered in to look at the pretty lights and everything's awesome, whereas really if I sit there and think about this film for longer than a minute, I can pick and go, oh my, and then this whole thing is just unravelled into a big pile of, what the hell was this? And yeah, this film is awful. I mean, as a genuine film, it's awful. As a Star Wars film, it's pretty awful. Before I get started, if you just indulge me for a few moments while I recall this story, because it makes me laugh every time I think of it. See, back in 2019, we could go to these places called the cinema. Amazing places, God, those were the days. And so I booked my ticket for Friday the 19th of December 2019. And I was very much looking forward to watching this film, really hoping it'll be what I want it to be. And I remember on Thursday the 18th, I got an email from the cinema saying, "Did you enjoy the movie?" Oh dear. Now I remember while booking said ticket, something odd happened because there was no 9 o'clock in the morning bookings for Friday the 19th. The whole page froze on me, and I had to refresh it, and next thing you know, it's kind of like, oh yeah, you can book 9 o'clock in the morning now. Oh, there we go then. Enter, done. The bastards in charge of that webpage had sent me back a day in the past to Thursday the 18th and just booked it, and yes, okay, my fault, I should have read the small print. That's not what makes me laugh. The mistakes happen in today, these things, they just happen, okay? But what made me laugh was, not long after booking said ticket, I got in touch with a good friend of the channel, Stephen Sword. Hey buddy. And he was like, yeah, I'm in at 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday the 19th too. I'm like, wow, I'll see you there, good buddy. In fact, I've actually got a lovely photo of the pair of us there. Good times, right? I miss the cinema so much. And so my immediate thought was, oh bugger, I better let Steve know. So ring up the old fella. Steve, I've just got off the phone with the cinema people. They've buggered up my ticket. There is no 9 o'clock in the morning booking, so they've put me up to 10 o'clock because they booked it for the wrong day. And do you know what Steve said? Ah, you donut! Ah! And then he realised he has the same problem as I do. So many people were buggered up that day apparently because they went to book it for Friday and the website automatically put them on the Thursday. We weren't the only ones, but it was just like, Steve, got on man. But thankfully we both got to see, he was actually sitting in the seat in front of me of all places, so we got to see the movie and we had a good day. That is until we review the movie. So, as I said earlier, I did a previous review, my non-spoiler review of this film, and I remember going into it thinking, I really want them to explain Rey's parentage. I really wanted them to tell me who Snoke is or what his main arc was. I wanted to see all the cast back together and actually have like great adventures together instead of like separate, because that was what The Last Jedi sucked with, you know, like they had Rey do an adventure, Finn do an adventure, Poe do an adventure. Put them together, they have so much chemistry together, but they split them up for that film and I didn't like that. I will admit, I was also incredibly worried going into The Rise of Skywalker because I thought the backlash of The Last Jedi, whether you liked it or not, you cannot deny the backlash was there. And I didn't know whether the studios were going to panic and hit the reset button and basically cram 2 films into one film and making it a terrible mess with The Rise of Skywalker, or were they going to double down and carry on the arc? Because Okay, look, I'm going to be completely straight here. I don't like The Last Jedi. I don't. I mean, it has certain points that I like and respect, and visually, my god, what a masterpiece. Visually beautiful. But, okay, go back even further. I do apologise, but we go back even further to The Force Awakens. I'm a big fan of Force Awakens. It's a really fun movie. It is very, very safe, and I understand that. A very safe movie. But it's so much fun. It feels adventurous. It feels like there's got so much energy going into this movie, and it asks so many questions and paints this beautiful picture for you to go, well, where do they go from here? And for some reason, whether it be Kathleen Kennedy, whether it be Rian Johnson, whatever, however you say his goddamn name, or just studio problems, they took all these ideas and went, don't worry about them, here's The Last Jedi. And of course, us as fans, it doesn't matter if it's safe or it's challenging at all, we want to know where this arc was going to go. What's Finn going to do? Who is Rey? What is Snoke? We want to know what you've presented to us. Admittedly, if The Last Jedi was the first movie to set up this brand new trilogy, I could have a completely different opinion. And it may have been fantastic, but this is purely my opinion. And once again, if you do like The Last Jedi, more power to you. I don't get any enjoyment from it. It's like a big middle finger in your face. So yes, going back to my original review, I have no shame to admit that I was probably an incredibly biased Star Wars fan on that day, because it had a pretty good feel-good ending and I was very happy with it, but even I admitted there were some problems, some glaring problems. At the time though, I wanted to see something fun. I wanted to see something with adventure, energy, and this film did supply that. But as soon as you think about this movie, it falls to pieces. It truly does. So, on to the actual movie itself. Starts off pretty badass. Oh no, I apologise. It starts off bloody ridiculous with The Dead Speak. This opening crawl. And I remember saying this in my very first review. I was very, very worried when this opening crawl happened. I was like, oh my god. It was like they panicked. They flat out panicked with this movie and went, make it as obvious as possible! Palpatine's back! Palpatine's back! Oh dear. So, apart from the opening credits, the first bit really was kind of engaging. You know, you had Kylo Ren kicking all kinds of arse. Apparently it's on Mustafar. Well, if you're going to do that, you've got to put Vader's castle in there, or something to really consider planning out this, this area, this whole visual storytelling. You want us to know it's Mustafar, either put it on the screen, Mustafar, or show us something that we've seen before to make us go, it's Mustafar, Just saying. This is where Kylo Ren discovers what they call a Sith Wayfinder. Now, I've got to be honest, why did they call it a Sith holocron? If you're not familiar with the books and the comics, it's fair enough. I've only just started within the last 5 years or so to start reading some of these books. Darth Bane trilogy, get it in your life right now. So yes, the holocron is basically a small pyramid, right, where the Sith store all their knowledge and their secrets and they pass it down from generation to generation. That's the bare minimum description of what a holocron is. Okay, you can go into more detail on it, please do, because it's great fun. I won't ruin the surprises for you. So why couldn't this just be Palpatine's holocron, which, Kylo Ren finds all the secrets? That could have been a very interesting opener. And this is where we can look at the trailer and go, oh, Palpatine's love, maybe he's being controlled by this holocron. And we go, no. In fact, it is a fucking... It's a Sith GPS tracker. He puts it in his ship, flies to a place called Testicle, and then there he is, like some sort of horrific animatronic. Palpatine is here. Once again, played by Ian McDermott, which is bloody amazing, but oh my dog. Just painful. Very painful. Now, as I said before, this film is very, very much jumping to planet. They introduced this ridiculous beat the clock system where they've got 18 hours to stop the Emperor and his new armada destroying the universe, galaxy, whatever. Okay, why is there a time limit and why is Palpatine giving you a time limit? Why didn't Palpatine just strike? So they're now a race against the clock to stop this from happening. And they go back through Luke's original journeys. What did he do? He was looking for MacGuffins. MacGuffins, which is all of J.J. Abrams' specialties. They're looking for this thing, to find this thing, to open this thing, to reach this place, to go this place, and end up here. Kind of sucks, in my opinion. Admittedly, they give me what I want here. You've got Finn, Rey, Poe, BB-8, and for some reason C-3PO going on an adventure together. And yeah, you know what? I quite like the fact that Rey and Poe are at loggerheads all the time. It kind of reminded me of Carrie Fisher and the Harrison Ford. It was nice. Should have done more of that in The Last Jedi, if I'm honest. And it was great to see Finn there. But the one thing that absolutely, it made me laugh out loud in the cinema. I was the only psychotic person to do so. But they were all gearing up to get on the Falcon to go on this mission. You see Finn go up to Rose, who survived The Last Jedi. I feel so bad for him. It made me laugh. I was like a psycho. I was the only person in the cinema who laughed here. Because it wasn't funny, it was just like, oh, that's harsh. Yeah, I did like the Rose character, but Kelly Marie Tran doesn't deserve any backlash from this. She's just a person at the end of the day. But it was the fact that Finn goes up to her and says, hey, we're going on an adventure, you coming with? And she's like, hands in pockets, no, I don't like it. I'm just like, oh, Rose. So they set off on their adventure to go to a Burning Man festival, apparently. Just as odd. This is where they bump into William December Williams as Lando Calrissian. Yes, that is his real name. I refuse to call him Billy D. Williams now. It's William December Williams. That is an amazing name. I love it. My only problem is that he is so uncomfortable. I don't want to be an ageist here, but he is not looking too good. You know, he's propped up against the wall, hiding a walking stick. You know, like he needs a chair. Get him somewhere to sit down, please. My God. So he takes them on yet another journey to find a Sith dagger. But while this is going on, we see what Kylo Ren and the Final Order are now doing. And there seems to be some sort of spy on board. It's Hux. Of course it's Hux. When you bring in a character like Richard E. Grant, you know he's not going to be a good guy. And you look at all the other people we know from the First and Final Order. If they're going to do a surprise, he's a spy. Well, it ain't going to be Kylo. It ain't going to be Richard E. Grant. It's Hux. So, that didn't throw me at all. I was like, oh, they've ruined Hux. Hux could have been so much fun. So the story then takes us forward to a point where I find it almost unforgivable. Now, I remember saying, if I was going to rewrite The Last Jedi with what I know, one thing I would absolutely do to make the audience fear the Final Order, and give the heroes a reason to really fight back was, and I hate to say it because he's one of my all-time favourite characters, but I would have killed off Chewbacca in The Last Jedi. They capture him while they're evacuating the Red Bull base and whatnot, and they hold him hostage like surrender now or the Wookiee gets it, and Kylo does it himself. So he kills off Han and Chewie. Give him that moment. Because Kylo and Chewie never have that moment. There's no payoff there from the Han Solo stuff. So I would have had him do it then. So you get Kylo and Rey having their duel and they're forcing the ship out of the air, then Rey accidentally shoots electricity at it and blows up the ship that Chewbacca's on. And it was like, oh no, Chewie's dead! And then a minute later we see Chewie's not dead, he's on another ship we didn't see. So to cut a long story short, this film then throws a lot of forgettable characters in our face, like whoever Kerry Russell's played in Babu Frick. To the point where we basically get one of the worst lightsaber duels since Anakin vs. Dooku. Anakin vs. Dooku is the worst, let me make that clear. Attack of the Clones is a terrible movie, don't watch it. With that one it was just flashing lightsabers and close-ups, and then Anakin loses an arm. We get Kylo Ren and Rey Skywalker on this bridge with water flying over it, and they're just, ugh. There's just no choreography, there's no emotion, it's just, okay. And it ends with Rey stabbing Kylo. And then she learns Force Heal, and she heals him. Now, I know a lot of people have a problem with Rey just knowing Force Hill, and Force Hill has never been a part of the Star Wars universe. I can tell you right now, almost every single Star Wars game, not every single, so if you want to leave comments below where it's like, oh, this game hasn't got it, you're right. But most Star Wars games have a Force Hill function, including Lego Star Wars. It's a thing, get over it. Yes, the fact that she learns it in 5 minutes flat is probably questionable. They could have done a lot better setting that up. I'm not a writer, I'm not a director, I wasn't in charge, I'm just putting information out there, do with it as you wish. But yeah, look, I wasn't keen on it either, but it can be justified, with an eye roll, okay? Now I feel like I'm really speeding through this review and leaving out some key moments here, but it's hard to know what to talk about that hasn't already been said. This film is a few years old now, and I'm bringing it out because it's Star Wars Day. But this film has been picked apart so often, there's not a lot to really go by. So I'm just bringing you my perspective of what this film really was and the most memorable parts from it, because quite honestly, I don't think I could be bothered to watch it again. We now come to the film's conclusion. And I said this in my no spoiler review, obviously without the spoiler part. And that was, there was this one bit at the end where I just went, I don't like this. Straight off the bat, I do not like this. And if you know, you know. And this was the Endgame ending. Months previously, Avengers Endgame came out. Freaking awesome. Love that film. Not as good as Infinity War. Different story. However, the end battle starts with Captain America facing down Thanos' army. And he's got a broken shield, he tightens it up, he goes, he knows he's going to die, but he's going to stand up and fight to his last breath. And then you hear a falcon approach from his other shoulder, on your left. And then this whole army of superheroes emerges from all these portals, and they stand and fight with Captain America. And it, like, literally, I've got goosebumps thinking about it. That's how much I love that scene. Right? We now get to the ending of this film, Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. Poe flying his ship. Oh no, not Porkins has died. Sorry, that's kind of who he is, in my opinion. All is lost. We're all gonna die. Lando, on your left, riding a Millennium Falcon, and all these ships come out of nowhere to help the fight. Oh my god. It was exactly the goddamn same. And it's by the same studio, Disney. I mean, did no one think, or did everyone just think, oh, Avengers did it, we'll do it, it was great. No. Then we get all this really confusing crap with the Emperor taking on Kylo Ren and, Rey, and he's begging them to kill him. Kill me so then I can transform myself into you. So you don't kill him then, do you? That's the one thing you don't do. So Rey kills him, and nothing comes of it. I remember in the cinema thinking, it doesn't matter. It's coming to the end now, I'm happy, I can go home, I can talk about this film, it's fine. But no, I can't do that now. Every time I think about that, he's begging them, kill me, do it. And so they do! And he's shooting electricity at them, and she's got the two lightsabers, and then, oh my god, they even rip off the Thanos thing. And it's like, I am inevitable. No stones, and then Tony Stark. Well, I am Iron Man. And then this film, I am the Sith, and I am the Jedi. They did it again! Again! Definitely not a coincidence, is it? They absolutely ripped off Endgame here and thought no one was going to watch it. And they didn't realise people were going to make that connection. Shame. Now, I personally would have probably gone along the lines of Rey kills Palpatine, and Kylo's like, is it over? And then she turns and her eyes just flash red, and she's now Palpatine, so Kylo's now got to kill Rey Palpatine. That would have been pretty interesting, and maybe they both die together, Romeo and Juliet style, so then balance. is now equal, because there are no Sith and Jedi. Pretty ballsy, but it's better than just, Rey's dead, Kylo heals her, and then Kylo dies. So the film winds down to everyone's celebrating because the war's over again, and the three main characters are all hugging each other, and it ends with Rey going to Tatooine to the Skywalker ranch, and she buries the lightsabers in sand, and some old crone is like, "Who are you? What's your name?" "Rey." "Rey who?" "Rey Skywalker." Now, yes, a lot of fan backlash should have just got us saying, "I am Rey Palpatine," because if the name means nothing, you can reinvent the Palpatine name to mean something good. I get that. It was the name of the film, Rise of Skywalker. It was always going to be Skywalker. If you're angry, then you weren't paying attention. Don't get me wrong, I don't like it either. I think it was a terrible line to end the trilogy on, but have a thought. Really think about yourself before you talk. And that was a general outline of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Yes, I know I've glossed over a lot of things, but I've got to be brutally honest here. So many people have talked about this movie, there's not a lot left to say. There are some questions that have been answered, but not very satisfactory either. But there's also been some unanswered questions, so I'm just going to run through a couple of questions that I picked up on that did get an answer, but they were really, really unsatisfactory. So my first question is, who or what is Snoke? We just want to know if he means something. We want to know, is he Plagueis? Is he Palpatine's secret apprentice? Is he Palpatine's secret master? Is he the weird librarian from Attack of the Clones? That was one of my favourites. We just need something to connect him to the past, because you can't just have the war ends and everyone's in peace. For there to be a new bad guy just comes with no rhyme or reason, just goes, "Hello, I'm Sith 2. Fuck are you then?" Some context was needed. Maybe he could have just been an alien called Snoke, who discovered the teachings of, let's say, Darth Bane, Darth Revan, and trained himself to be this all-powerful Sith. Interesting. But no, we don't get a good enough answer. We just get Palpatine cloned a shit ton of Snokes, and this one turned out alright, even with a messed up face, and was using that to control Kylo Ren. It's an answer, it's just not a very good answer. The next question was, how are they going to continue without Carrie Fisher's Princess Leia? This one really sucked, because Carrie died around Christmas time, and it was like, we know she started to build some of The Rise of Skywalker, but this absolutely sucks. Like, we never got to see Han Solo, Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker on screen together again, and that's a travesty. That's absolutely crap. But we did see Carrie and Harrison Ford, and we did see Carrie and Mark Hamill, so we got smidges of what we wanted. But that's just it, smidges. So I fully assumed this film was going to start with a funeral scene. They were just going to go, look, screw the content we filmed, let's just start with the funeral, okay? And then we can basically go, Princess Leia's gone, we need a new leader. Finn and Poe and Rey step up to take this. That, I think, would be a bit more respectful and a bit more appropriate. But instead they used the footage they had of her, and a lot of stand-ins, a lot of trick photography to do so. They could have given her something interesting to do at least, but she somehow became Rey's master, and I don't get that. It was very, very... It just sucks she dies. That is the main thing we've got to take away from here, and how they managed it was poorly, in my opinion. And the third thing we wanted an answer about and didn't get was Rey's parentage. I don't think a single person in the cinema believed Kylo when he said, "Your parents are nobodies, they're drunks who sold you for drinking money." No one believed it. A guy made a YouTube video just after The Force Awakens claiming Palpatine is her grandfather. But that just means one thing. Palpatine fucked. None of this midichlorian making crap. He got down and dirty. And then his offspring got down and dirty. So where are these Siths? Yeah, so the whole parentage thing sucked, but we got an answer. But now we get three questions that didn't actually get answered. So we'll start with number one. Just how did Palpatine survive? being thrown down a reactor shaft and then getting blown up. I mean, yes, everyone's talking about it's just clones, loads of clones of Palpatine, clones. But they never actually say that. They never physically. And you look at the state of him. If he's going to clone himself, he'd give himself legs. I'm sorry, he would. Like, there is no reasonable suggestion here that just says clones was the answer. If this was the case, he would have fingertips and legs. Number 2. How the hell did someone predict where the Death Star was going to crash land and then make a dagger with a compassing at the bottom, which is a direct map of the debris? What if it broke differently? What if it broke into a bazillion tiny flecks of nothingness and are floating around space? Well, then the holocron wayfinder, wouldn't be on board, it would be destroyed. How do you justify that, truly? And number 3, what did they do to Finn? I know this isn't a question, it's more of a statement, but a renegade, cowardly stormtrooper who regains a lot of honour in Force Awakens and goes back to being a coward in The Last Jedi to become a hero again in Rise of Skywalker, and all he wants to do is bang Rey, and I want to bang Daisy Ridley too, but I'm not in the film, I don't get a chance to. Give Finn his moment to shine, damn it! So after all of that, I have to admit that this film is a steaming pile of crap. It truly is not worth my time, but I'm going to give it 5 out of 10 for one reason only, because it was trying to revive and trying to resuscitate everything that The Last Jedi killed. And if you don't like The Rise of Skywalker because it took everything that The Last Jedi did and threw it away, then by that logic alone, you must not like The Last Jedi because it took everything that The Force Awakens set up and threw it away. So, thank you all so much for watching. Please feel free to like the video, share the video, and as always, leave me them dirty comments. And I'll see you all next time. May the Force be with you.